Welcome to this lesson on graphing ratio tables. Please be sure you have these notes in front of you so we can begin our lesson. The learning objective for today says I can graph ratio tables on a coordinate plane. So for our vocabulary and key concepts, we're going to review the coordinate plane. We talked about the coordinate plane in a previous lesson, and we know that the x-axis goes from left to right. So this would be the x-axis right here because it's going left to right. The y-axis goes in the direction of up and down. It's also known as the vertical number line. So here's the example of the vertical number line. And we know that when the x-axis and the y-axis intersect, we have the origin, which is located at 0, 0. That's the ordered pair for the origin. We also know that when the x-axis and the y-axis intersect, it forms the coordinate plane. So here, we're just looking at quadrant 1 right now. Finally, the location on the coordinate plane is known as an ordered pair. And remember, we always go from x first, followed by y. So let's use these key concepts to discuss the following examples. So for example 1, it says the table shows the cost in dollars to create CDs of digital photos at a photo shop. The table also shows information as ordered pairs. So if I notice in my first column, I'm giving the number of CDs, and that's going to be represented by my X value. And in my Y column, the cost in dollars is represented by my Y value. So when I put them together, I should get ordered pairs. So my first ordered pair would be 1, 3, because for every 1 CD it costs $3. My second ordered pair would be 2, 6, and my third ordered pair would be 3, 9. So I'm going to go ahead and graph my ordered pairs on my coordinate plane. Remember, we're going to start with the x first and then go on the y-axis. So for my first ordered pair, which is 1, 3, I'm going to move over on my start at 0, 0, and I'm going to move over on my x-axis to 1 unit, and I'm going to go up 3 units. So my point should go right there. So that point is located at 1, 3. Our second point that we're going to graph is 2, 6. So I'm going to start at 0, 0 once again. And I'm going to move 2 spots on my x-axis. And I'm going to move up 6 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, on my y-axis. So the second point is located at 2, 6. For the third point, I know that the address or the ordered pair is at 3, 9. So I'm going to start at my 0, 0 axis, and I'm going to go over 3 units on my x-axis. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. And then now I'm going to climb up 9 units on my y-axis. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to place my ordered pair right there. And that ordered pair is located at 3, 9. One thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that your coordinate plane is labeled. So you don't just want to call it the x-axis. You want to make sure it's labeled, whatever the table's called. So on my x-axis, we actually call the x-axis the number of CDs. And for my y-axis, we called it the cost in dollars, or the money. So make sure you just label your graphs so we know what the x-axis and the y-axis mean. So for example 2, we are using the same exact problem that we just completed in problem 1. The only difference now is we're going to take it a step further by describing the pattern that we notice in the graph. So in example 1, we already completed the ordered pairs here, and we also graphed it on the coordinate plane here. Notice that we can connect the dots on the graph using a straight line. So I drew that using a red line, and it connects all the dots that are on the graph. Know that the points can form a line. By looking at our graph, we notice that each point is 1 unit to the right and 3 units up from the previous point. So if we look at our graph, if we start at 0, 0, my pattern says go 1 unit to the right, 3 units up. 1 unit to the right, 3 units up. 1 unit to the right, 3 units up. And that pattern should continue throughout the entire line. So we know that the cost increases by $3 for every CD. So pause the video and complete this got it problem, and we will discuss the answers in class tomorrow. Take note that this is one problem, but there's two parts to it. So there's part A and there's part B, so make sure you answer both. So for example 3, it says 2 friends are making a scrapbook. Renee places 4 photos on each page of her scrapbook, and Gina places 6 photos on each page of her scrapbook. Make a table for each scrapbook. So let's take a look at Renee's scrapbook on the left-hand side. We know that for every page that she creates on her scrapbook, she's going to have 4 photos. And her ordered pair would be 1, 4. Okay, so if I wanted to double that, I would scale up by multiplying it by 2. So 2 pages, she would have 8 photos, and her ordered pairs would be 2, 8. So let's go ahead and scale it again. Let's multiply it by 3. So on 3 pages, she would have 12 photos, which would be 3, 12. And we can go ahead and scale it again, scale forward. Let's multiply it by 4. And on 4 pages, she would have 16 photos, and her ordered pairs would be 4, 16. Now on the right-hand side, let's talk about Gina's scrapbook. On Gina's scrapbook, on 1 page, she's going to have 6 photos, and her ordered pairs would be 1, 6. Now if I scale forward, I can multiply that by 2. So on 2 pages, she would have 12 photos, and her ordered pair would be 1, 12. Let's scale forward now. So instead of multiplying by 2, we can multiply by 3 now if I scale forward, so times that by 3. And on 3 pages, she's going to have 18 photos, and her ordered pair would be 3, 18. And scale forward one more time, so I'm going to multiply it by 4. So on 4 pages, she's going to have 24 photos, and her ordered pairs is 2, 24. So those are the completed tables for both Renee and Gina's scrapbook. So now that we've finished the table and the ordered pairs for Renee's scrapbook and Gina's scrapbook from example 3, let's go ahead and graph each person's data on the coordinate plane. So when I plot Renee's points on the coordinate plane, I'm going to use blue, and I'm going to use red to plot Gina's points. So let's take a look at Renee's first. We're going to go to 1, 4, so I'm going to start at 0, 0. And I'm going to go 1 on the x-axis. And notice 1 is in between 0 and 2. And I'm going to go up to 4. So I've just graphed this ordered pair right here. Let's go ahead and graph 2, 8. So 2, 8, I'm going to start at 0, 0 on my x-axis and jump over 2 spots. So number 2 is this first line here. And I'm going to go up to 8, which is right here. So I just finished graphing the next ordered pair. The next ordered pair would be 3, 12. So I'll start at 0, 0, go on 3 on my x-axis. I notice that 3 would be in between 2 and 4 right here. Then I'm going to go up to 12. So my ordered pair would be right here. So I've just graphed 3, 12, and the last one would be 4, 16. So start at 0, 0, jump to 4 on the x-axis, and I'm going to go up to 16 on my y-axis. So my point would be right here. So I've just graphed 4, 16. Notice I can connect all the blue dots on one single line. So now let's go ahead and graph Gina's ordered pairs. The first ordered pair I want to look at is 1, 6. So on my x-axis, I'm going to start at 0, 0 and move over to 1. Now we know that 1 is between 0 and 2. Now I'm going to go up to 6, so my first ordered pair of 1, 6 should go right here. So I've already used 1, 6. The next one I want to go to is 2, 12. So I'll start at 0, 0 on my x-axis and go over to 2 on the x-axis and go up to number 12, which is about right here. The next one would be, let me go ahead and cross that out because I've already used 2, 12. The next one would be 3, 18. 3, 18, if I start at 0, 0, I'm going to go to 3 on the x-axis, which is between 2 and 4, and I'm going to go up on my y-axis to number 18, which is about right here. So I'm going to cross that out. And for the last one, 4, 24. 4, 24 would be start at 0, 0. I'm going to go to 4 on the x-axis. I'm going to go up to 24. And notice that I don't have any 24, but it would be someplace off the graph. So I'm going to cross it out because I've just used it. Notice that I can connect all the dots on the graph for Gina on one red line. For example 5, we're still using the problem that we completed in example 3 and 4, but now they're asking us to take it a step further. They're asking us, how does the ratio of photos to each page compare to each person? How is this shown on the graph? So by looking at the information in the other examples, we know that the ratio of photos to pages for Renee's scrapbook is 4 to 1, which means she has 4 photos on every one page. We also know that the ratio for Gina's scrapbook is 6 to 1, which means there are 6 photos for every one page. The coordinate plane graph shows that both scrapbooks form 2 straight lines, but Gina's line is much steeper than Renee's line. And the reason why Gina's line is steeper is because Gina has 2 more photos than Renee for every scrapbook page. So pause the video and complete the got it problem, and we will discuss the answer in class tomorrow. So now that you've completed this lesson, please make sure you self-assess yourself and let us know how you feel. If there's any part of this video that you do not understand, please go back and rewatch it again. Also, come to class with some questions so that we can discuss it in further detail.